Hello and welcome back to X-Plane 11 for part 3 and my final part of my first impressions and review of the Just Flight BAe 146 Professional. Thank you very much for joining me in this particular video. Last time out we started the aircraft up, we taxied, took off, we went for a climb, and now we are on our way to Daventry at this point in time. Now, due to a recording issue, I had to record this again, so I've tried to match myself up almost identically to where I was, time of day and everything like that. But if some things are slightly different, I do apologise, but that is not really the particular point of this video. In this video I'm going to be going through the rest of the cruise. We'll be going into a descent, an approach and a landing at London Heathrow, and I'll be able to talk about my final thoughts on this and also who this aircraft is for. So make sure you stay tuned to get my final thoughts, and if you have not watched parts 1 and 2 where I go through a lot of detail, please do make sure you watch those. Anyway, since we're coming up to Daventry pretty soon, 17 nautical miles, I think I should probably get started, and straight after the intro I will talk a little bit about who I think this aircraft is designed for. Okay, so not too much time to talk on this. I do have to, of course, fly an aircraft, but who is this aircraft designed for? That is the big question. And honestly, I think that this aircraft is designed for people who like older style aircraft and like doing shorter hops. I think that is one of the really important things there, because if you like doing long journeys, across multiple countries, 12-hour flights, things like that, this aircraft is not going to be for you in the slightest. It just is not going to work out. But if you like doing shorter hops, for example like I do, where I do not have time to do long journeys, so I have to do much shorter hops, this aircraft is for you. That is definitely what you need to do, or what kind of aircraft you need, particularly if you like doing a lot of hands-on stuff. So this aircraft, though you can use an FMC, which there is a new FMC coming, this is just the built-in X-Plane one, there is a custom one coming up. Though you can use this FMC, the beauty of the aircraft is really using this and then looking at flight charts. That is the beauty of this aircraft, and I think that's where this aircraft really works well. We've got slight vibration on engine number 1. You just see that there's slight excessive vibrations there. We seem to be okay all the way through. Plenty of oil, everything else looks good. 9 miles from Daventry, we are going to be turning onto a new radial of 165, I believe, and the reason I cannot show you this on here is because, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm using an old Star into London Heathrow, one that I believe is no longer active. It was active a couple of years ago, but I do not believe it is active right now or at this point in time. So that is why I cannot show you that, but we're going to be turning on to a radial 165, intercepting the Bovingdon VOR at Westcote, which should be 20 miles further down from Daventry, and that would be intercepting the 117 radial inbound to Bovingdon, which is what we're going to be flying next. Bovingdon is already tuned in over here on the nav2 radio at 113.75, and then I am going to actually tune this up for London Heathrow. Today we are going to be landing runway 27 left, and the ILS for 27 left is 109.5. Almost at Daventry here. So yes, that is the kind of person that I think would really like this. So if you like doing short hops from, just 1-2 hour flights, things like that, or shorter runways, that would be awesome. If you like flying into something like London City Airport with the steeper steeper approach angle, then this aircraft is also for you, because I know for a fact this does fly into London City Airport. At least used to. I used to watch this. I used to see this aircraft quite a bit. Let's hit map mode on this and let's see what this can do. We can even increase up the range a little bit. 25 miles. And is there anything else I can see? 1.8. Once we get to about 1 mile, I will swap that around to 165 on here, and then we'll start setting up the next course that we require. I just want to give this a little bit more of a test. So I do have terrain displays switched on, so I want to see what that does. 1.6. We are now, we're now increasing, which means that it is time to. So we're just coming straight past, or flying just over the VOR. Obviously we do have this slight deviation in aircraft like these. Everything else seems absolutely fine. We're flying at 10,000 feet at 235 knots. I'm not really looking at going much faster, just on this test flight. I think you can cruise in this aircraft at about 280, 290 knots. I think that is pretty safe for this aircraft to be cruising, but I've got it nicely settled in at 235 knots. Obviously on the real aircraft you wouldn't have something like this, so you just need to take a look over here, and you can see Mach number right there, Mach 0.4. So that is pretty good. Right, next up, let's get this correct radial tuned in. So we're looking for the 117 inbound. So let's set this up for 117 inbound. Oh, that was 117 right there. That is 117 inbound. Now, the cross we're looking for here on the DME to ensure that we have that intersection correct is 20 on DME 1 and 17 on DME 2. So that is what we are currently looking for. We have some time before we actually get to that point. So for now, let me have a look around. Let's see what else we have that we can play around with. Speakers, engine pumps are all on. We've got some time to perhaps look at the aircraft from the outside. Bear with me, it is going to get a little bit loud. So there we go. Yeah, the aircraft does look, as said, I think it is modelled really well. There was we have had one or two slight modelling issues, but nothing too severe at all, and things that Just Flight are fixing at this point in time. So the fact that they are fixing these things does bode well for this sort of aircraft. Just taking a few potential thumbnail shots here of the aircraft. Oh, that has to be a thumbnail shot. Perfect. Silverstone racetrack right there. That was awesome. So at the moment we're near Toaster in that area. Right, so how are we looking? 11.3. We still have some time to look around. I would open the door and go back there, but that's rather loud. I wonder if any of these are. Yep, these can all be pressed as well. So that is pretty cool. I've not tried the window. What we'll do is, if I remember, on the ground, I'll try and open the window. Flight manuals can go here. Okay. Oxygen. Not messing around with too many things at this point in time. I never had this on in part 1, but that's okay because we were not using it. So these are your VHF comms. Trying to figure out what warnings I've got here. Spoiler up, that's fine. Lift spoiler select off. I thought it was off. Screen heat select off. Yeah, screen heat is fine. And outside air temperature is about 0, so realistically I should have the screen heaters on. Maybe I should have a little bit of icing on the windows. I'm not sure if that has been actually implemented yet. Ice detect is on, so this isn't detecting any ice, and that's okay. I think I am okay for that at this point in time. How much time? We're almost where we need to be, so very quickly, whilst we're waiting for the 20, just want to see what the landing altitude is on this. So airport elevation is 83, runway 73. Do I really need to play around with decision heights and things like that? Probably, so I'll have it 550. Let's do that. 18.8, yep, we're getting where we need to go. So, in theory, I should be able to swap this to nav2 and it should turn us in straight to Bovingdon. That's the theory. 19, that's pretty good. And there it goes. That is working, so we should see ourselves turning in. And as you see, we're going to turn in onto this course. I know it says 116 here, but we are coming in on a 11. Okay, you know what? Fine, let's go come in on a 116, not the 117 from the old chart. Right. Next up, let's prepare ourselves for. Obviously, we've got a descent to come, but I also want to prepare myself for. Let's see. I want to prepare myself for a missed approach if I have to. So Epsom's going to be 316. So I'm going to set up 316 there for Epsom. And when that comes into range, we should be okay. I no longer require 1164, so I'm going to swap these around to 1095. I'm going to set the nav on this for runway heading, which is 271. Is it 271? Again, I'm just going to check. I've got some time, as you can see, I've got some time to Bovingdon. 269 actually. There we go, 269. So that's been set up runway heading, and we are going to attempt the approach mode, which I think is that Vorlock anyway. So I am going to attempt that. We're going to also be playing around with the heading mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to, oops, zoom out a little bit, there we go. I'm not going to be flying in and then following this all the way. I'm going to be flying in. I'll probably get maybe 11 miles out, and then I'm going to actually turn in and do a proper base leg and then fly in like that. So that is my intention there, but by that time I want to be down to 6,000 feet as I come in, and then as I turn into base leg I want to be on my way down to 3,500 feet, and then obviously if all goes well we should be down to 3,000 feet properly. 9.5 to Bovingdon, so we need to start preparing for our descent now. Descent checklist is not after takeoff, climb, descent, there we go. PTU on, okay. PTU on, pressurization has been set, ice protection has been as required, that's been done. Landing data, bug set. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So we're going to land flaps, let's land flaps 24 today. So 124 is our speed. I also want warnings at 160, and I want another one at what's that, 200, 190, 180. Actually no, we're going to bring flaps out 200, and then 180 we want, yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure what this warning's about now. Not sure at all. Again, this is not a professional full-blown tutorial, so do not expect everything to be done properly. This is the second time I'm flying this aircraft ever, and so this is the second approach I'm doing, and I still haven't learnt from the first approach. So let's see how we are going to do this. Let me set my heading bug to also match. Yeah, I need my heading bug to match what I'm doing here. 3.5 miles. We're going to have to be kind of quick on this. Where's the bug? There it is. Okay, and our approach wants to be 127. So I'll set this for 127 As soon as we go past 2 miles, I'll set for 127. Okay. Set new course 127. It doesn't want to. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was clever because we were close to it, so it was waiting until it jumped over. That's very nice. And now we need to try and get a descent going, which is the more difficult part, I would say. So what we need to do is we need to bring the throttles back. As you can see, the autopilot has switched off. We need to bring ourselves into a 1,000 foot per minute rate of descent. I'm going to try and bring the autopilot back on and hit the vertical speed on this. I'm hoping that actually does what I want it to do. We're now down to 229. All of this has been done. No problems with that. 228. Descent is happening, just perhaps not fast enough. So just need to. Again, I'm not. There is apparently supposed to be another way of doing this, but I cannot seem to get that way done. Right, I'm going to ease off the throttle a little. So I'm just keeping an eye on these speeds. So we're still doing ground speed 230 ground speed, which is, since we have no wind today, it's absolutely fine. Should be very similar, but that seems okay. We're down to 9,000 feet. We should be 6,000 and above, but we're okay. We're looking for perhaps 11 nautical miles there, and then I'm going to be going into heading hold and turning it around. So we're going to be heading 090, I think. So we're going to do a proper base. Descent does look good here. Lights are on, everything's fine, seatbelt signs are on. Everything seems to be okay. That probably should have been off the entire time. 9 miles. Still descending nicely. Speed is stable. This aircraft does slow down quite quickly, so that is something to perhaps bear in mind. And I'd like to get a decentish screenshot here as well. And you can just see the angle of the aircraft as it is slowing down. And that is in a descent. So this aircraft does descend very quickly. Right, let's try and we're past the 11, so I'm going to go heading hold 090. Hit the heading bug and we're going to be turning in. We will continue our descent, and then as soon as we get onto base leg, I'm looking to shed off speed. So we want to bring it down to 180 at that point. And so I think we are doing fairly well. At the moment we should be 6,000 and above roughly, and we are at 7,500 feet. So we're just giving ourselves a little bit of extra room to bring ourselves in. I can close these to clean up let's clean up my charts a little bit. There we go. That's better. Just gives it a little bit, just makes it a little bit cleaner. Right, obviously we've got London City to take a look at. Normally this aircraft would probably be landing at London City, but today we are not going to be doing that. Everything else seems to be okay. Everything is configured correctly. It's dropping nicely. Speed is good. We're at 6,000 feet here. So now let's do how are we going to do this? Let me think. We have the ability to continue dropping, so once we get to 6,000 feet, I'm just thinking what's going to be ideal here. Let's continue bringing this down 3,000 feet now. And now let's turn in 180. So we should be flying right over, well, not right over London City, but we should be flying right over London, which is absolutely fine. At this kind of altitude, it's fine. I believe the minimum, well, we've got 3,500 minimums there, and then there's a section where it's 1,500 special VFR or something. But this is a pretty good. I think this is working pretty well so far. Right, so now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and slow down further. I'm going to bring one stage of flaps out, so flaps 18. I think the throttles, if I hold the throttles around the same spot, come on, that's it. Watch the descent still. That's pretty good, and that gives this aircraft the characteristic nose down configuration that with if you ever watch this aircraft, or if you've ever seen this aircraft in real life, this is what it does. It has this very characteristic nose down sort of situation. Right, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to turn in to 10, and I'm actually going to activate Vorlock for nav 1. Let's see if this works. I'm very interested in seeing if this works. We're still pretty high, but I think we should be okay. I'm hoping we should be okay bringing ourselves down. So we're coming in, we're 1,500 feet above where we should be. And of course this is going to be a test of how this aircraft performs. Maybe I should have stretched the base out a little bit, but we are okay. And I'll bring this down so we can do 193. Let's start slowing ourselves down. Is it going to pick up the localizer? It has. Look at that. 188, 187. We are 1,000 feet above.
Localizer captured.
Yep, we're 1,000 feet above where we need to be, are we? I think we are. That is pretty awesome. Oh no, we're not even 1,000 feet above, we're only a few hundred feet above. So this is really good. I mean, as you can see, I'm flying this aircraft pretty much manually. Flying it pretty much on autopilot. We will, of course, bring it in for landing ourselves. We're going to land it manually. It's just a matter of making sure we can do that. And let's do 109.5 for both. I think normally we should set both of these to be exactly the same. And it should be split like that. But I think we're doing fairly well. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to take manual control of the aircraft. And I think we're at 165, so I'm going to start slowing ourselves down a little bit more, landing gear coming out and all of that kind of stuff. So, here we go. Let's see if I can disable it. Apparently not.
Autopilot disconnected.
Autopilot disconnected. My aircraft.
Speed check below 205. Select gear down. Speed checked below
Gear down.
180. Select flaps 24.
Flaps 24. There we go. Gear down. Flaps 24.
Speed check below 145. Select flap 33.
No, I'm not doing. I'm doing a flaps 24 landing. Am I not? Okay, so maybe one thing we need to have on this is the ability to select, because I'm doing a flaps 24 landing. So naturally, I would need to ensure that the glide paths below us. I would need to maybe tell the co-pilot somehow that I'm doing a flaps 24 landing. Maybe that would help a little. There we go. We're down to speed that we need to be, which is exactly what I'm after, or roughly. I believe that's Twickenham off the port side of the nose. But we are not worried about Twickenham. We're worried about flying this aircraft without stalling it. We are above the glide, so we can just bring the nose down lightly. This aircraft does, it is weird because of the way the aircraft is, the sort of the nose orientation of the aircraft is throwing me off just a little. Because the nose is very downwards, and obviously I'm not used to flying an aircraft where I'm actually pointing the nose down quite so severely, should I say. In reality, it isn't much. It really isn't much. It's just a few degrees, but it is noticeable when you are flying in something like this. 1,000 feet to go. I really should have switched off all of those. I should have switched off all of those annunciator voices apart from, so just have just the pure annunciators that are in this aircraft. But you can tell the difference.
Approaching 27.
There's another
left.
one. There's another one that obviously I should have switched off. Still above the glide. Landing. Oh, my minimums were probably a little bit too high. 500 feet. I look like I'm sent on the centre line, but I'm not 100% certain. Slow down just a little more. 300 feet. I'm not on the centre line, am I? 200 feet. 100 feet.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Round idle.
Nose down.
Brake pressure seen.
That was pretty good. Flaps coming
80
up.
knots.
80 knots confirmed.
60 knots.
60 knots. No steering. Okay, that was a really easy landing. I am surprised at how easy that was to land that aircraft. I am genuinely surprised at that. Wow. Okay, so first of all, quite impressed with my own landing. I know I probably should not be, but I am. And secondly, just impressed with the quality of this aircraft. What do you keep warning me about? What is it now? It's probably warning me that I've got an APU on and I can I'm not using the generators on it. This is a very nice aircraft. Very nice. I like this as well. This is something to show. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the next corner a little bit faster. So let me throttle up just a smidge, and I'll go around the next corner just a little bit faster than I should. So what am I doing? 16 knots. Let's try and get it up to about 20 knots if possible. 18. Okay, 18 knots will do. Now I'm just going to go around this corner very quickly. Not only do you hear the tyre, did you see the body roll on that? I don't know if this is something that can be seen from the outside, to be honest. Yes, it can. That body roll on the aircraft, and that is because of the way the aircraft is designed and the high wing and everything. As you go around the corner, this is what happens. This aircraft is very, very nice. Should I just park it up over here somewhere, I think? One thing that I have noticed is occasionally the textures take a while to load, just particularly this one. The rest of them seem okay. It's just this section here just seems to take a while, and I'm not entirely sure why. But yes, this I'm pretty happy with this aircraft. Who do I recommend this for? As I said, people who like short hops, people who like old style displays and can really work with these. Not for people who like very long journeys. I think you are not going to like this. And of course, I haven't covered every single aspect of this aircraft, but I think I've covered enough to give you guys an idea as to just how good it is. So well done to Just Flight. Link is in the description box for the aircraft. It is, I think, £55, so it isn't a cheap aircraft, but for what you get and the quality that they have on it, I think that it is pretty enjoyable. I certainly know that I will be flying this aircraft a lot more because it is just an aircraft that I can fly in a much shorter hops. You know, the 737 is great, the Zibo Mod 737. That is great, and that is my general go-to. Of course, that is freeware, but this is a lot more suited to the kind of flying that I do. Maybe if I get back into streaming, much shorter flights. If I'm doing a flight to Spain, then from Britain, then yes, I'm using the 737. But if I'm doing a flight from Edinburgh to London, or from somewhere in Ireland, you know, Dublin over to here, or Belfast, or somewhere like that, or even from you know, somewhere like Paris, or somewhere, I don't know, Amsterdam, somewhere around that area, over into the UK, then this is the aircraft that I'd be flying now going forward. That is how good this aircraft is. So I definitely recommend this aircraft for anybody who likes this sort of thing. I definitely recommend this aircraft. Also, just quickly, I want to show you this. I did say that at some point I will show you. This is the speed brake for the aircraft. I mean, that is just incredible. I've seen the speed brake in action, but that is what the speed brake is, which is why the APU is out of the side and not the back. So I think that is really quite cool. And as you can see, it closes up pretty nicely. I'll open it up a little bit just to show you that again. Nice and smooth. Everything is pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11. Leave a comment in the comments box below. Let me know what you think. I've just realised before I do my outro, let me switch this aircraft off. So what is the approach? Yeah, that's done. Landing, after landing, we've done that. Let's go bring this into off. That is done. That is done. That is done. Yep, shut down. We've got the parking brakes up. We will switch off all our lights. There we go. Those are off. Those are off. Nav lights and beacon lights are going to stay off for now. Pressurization, depressurized. No idea how I'm going to do that. Do I just bring that to? Let's just bring that to 0. Heaters off. Engine anti-ice. Yeah, that's all fine. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and switch that back to fresh air. That's pretty good. And switch all of those off. There we go. transponder standby off, yep, and then we're going to just go ahead and switch off the aircraft. So unlock these. That's how we cut off the fuel flow. And that is the fuel flow switched off. We can switch that off as well. AC pump goes on. And then these two can go off. We're on APU power. Generators can go offline. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I know. No power. I know. Right, let's now go outside and do the exit. Let's do the outro. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11 and Flight Simulator, for more videos from looking at aircraft, just doing flights, seeing what I can do. If you've got any ideas, please do let me know. Also, you can find me on social media at ECGadgetLP for both Twitter and Instagram. I tend to post particularly flight simulator photos. I do tend to like posting those, and if you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your supports would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. I'm just taking a look at this. One thing that maybe isn't quite right, I wouldn't have expected these to stop quite so suddenly, so maybe that is just something else that needs to be looked into. But otherwise, this aircraft is absolutely fantastic. I genuinely like this aircraft, and I think Just Flight have done a brilliant job with it. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you next time in some sort of flight simulator. I just do not know which one, and I have no idea what is coming up in that video.